going.
Good afternoon, everyone. Imagine this. You're on a boat in the Caribbean going 28 knots, chasing after a speedboat, while simultaneously launching another boat off of yours at the same time. That's something that Coast Guard members do every day out of Miami, Florida, off this new class of boats called the Sentinel-Class cutter. Cutter is another word for a boat that the Coast Guard uses. This class of boats was designed in 2008 after the Island-Class cutter. They have about 50 of those that are going out of commission just due to their flaws and their overuse over the years. So it started in 2007 when the Coast Guard decided that they wanted to make this new fleet of boats. In 2008, they struck a contract with the Bollinger Shipyards for $88 million to make 40 of these boats. The Bollinger Shipyards have shipyards, 14 shipyards all over Louisiana and Texas, and it was a big deal for them to win this contract with the Coast Guard. The design of these vessels is originally based off a Dutch Navy boat from the Netherlands. It's a similar design, and as far as their construction goes, they can go up to 28 knots. They have a fixed pitch rather than a variable pitch, and they have stern launch capability and watertight bulkheads. Now that we know about their design, let's talk about what's on the boat. They have some very heavy weapons on there. They have a 50 caliber machine gun they have 4 of them that the crew members can man if needed. Then they have one remote controlled 25 millimeter Bushmaster autocannon that they can shoot boats right out of the water with. The weapons are capable of their obvious uses as well as vessel disabling, fire to assist in drug and migrant control. Another very unique feature of this boat is their launching ramp. It's capable of launching a 25-foot short-range prosecutor boat carrying a boarding team. It's necessary for search and rescue and drug and migrant interdiction. The small boat can be launched and recovered without the cutter ever coming to complete stop. So they can be in the middle of the water, chasing after a boat, and once they get close enough to it, they can launch the smaller boat into the water, and it can go onto the boat they're chasing. Now that we know a little bit about the design of this cutter, I'd like to explain to you the uses of it. One of the largest uses of it is drug interdiction. All these boats are located around Florida and the Gulf so that they can stop drug interdictions throughout the Caribbean coming into the U.S. It has the ability to engage in drug counter operations through intelligence, weapons, and the training of the crew. The deployable boat allows members of the crew to board suspicious vessels, also known as go-fast boats. These boats are used by drug cartels to outrun military boats so that they can get drugs into the country. Another use of this boat is for border control. There's a lot of migrant border control issues coming in through Florida from various Caribbean and South American countries. So they're used to also be patrolling the waterways through those areas to try to stop people who shouldn't be coming into the United States. Another last and very important thing is search and rescue. Any boats that get lost out in the water in the Atlantic or in the Gulf can, this boat can go out there and launch the smaller boat to go track boats that have gotten lost. And because the Coast Guard is a life-saving service and the concern of all the Coast Guard members at all times is the safety of the citizens. The first launching of these boats was in 2011. There was 3 of them that were first launched out of Key West, Florida. The first vessel, the Bernard C. Weber, was launched in April 2011. She commenced her sea trials on November 27, 2011, and she arrived in her home port of Miami, Florida on February 6, 2012. She was then commissioned on April 14, 2012 in the port of Miami, Florida. Although not all of them have been commissioned yet, there's 8 that have been built and are being used currently out of Key West and Miami, Florida, and there are about 36 more that are supposed to be built in the next 4 years. The crew, now I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the crew and the missions that they go on. Each boat is crewed by 20 enlisted members and 2 officers, 1 commanding officer and an executive officer. The crew has a strenuous schedule of maintaining qualifications that are general to everyone and specific to their own job. The crew on the boat, they have EMTs, boarding officers, firefighters, engineers, mechanics, and coxswains. All are cross-trained and elite in their jobs and responsible for carrying out all the duties in the Caribbean. Only issue that they're having so far with this boat is the funding issues on getting more of them. They had commissioned originally for the contract to be $88 million for 50 of these boats to be built, but because of the funding cutbacks and other issues, only 8, like I said before, only 8 have been actually made, and the other ones are being on hold right now. The United States is in a time of relative peace, and the United States Coast Guard is a peacetime service, but they still are suffering the wake of the budgetary cuts. Currently, drug interdictions are down 30%, not because of drug runners slowing down, but because of funding cuts. Right now, only 2 Sentinel-Class cutters are budgeted to be made in 2015, even though there are a total of 58 planned and only 8 commissioned so far. All right, and the reason why I chose this topic, and it's very close to my heart, and is because my husband is actually going to be stationed on the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter William Flores out of Miami, Florida in 3 weeks. And so he will be doing the duties that I explained that this boat does, and he will be a part of this, so thank you.